In addition to working odd jobs, I also serve as an informant for the police. I've been undercover in drug lord Mr. Lance's operation for a long time, working my way from a barmaid to infiltrating their inner circle, all in the effort to gather evidence of their drug trafficking activities. That day, Mr. Lance's men were at my place for a meeting, and just then, Heap showed up unexpectedly. With a stern face, she declared her claim over me, saying that my boyfriend, Lei, was hers. To save her life, I ruthlessly broke her fingers. My boyfriend Lei's white moonlight, Hib, sent someone to crush my fingers. When they reached the third one, Lei, who wouldn't even let me cut vegetables on my own, finally showed up. 7 more to go. What are you waiting for? I heard the sickening sound of my fingers being crushed and twisted, crying out and begging him to spare me. He looked at me indifferently, his expression utterly cold. You're so ruthless. How could I ever let you go? The pain was excruciating, but it couldn't compare to Lei's words. I stared up at him, stunned. He stood before me in a suit, someone holding an umbrella beside him, and there I was, filthy, lying in the mud and water, like a dead fish. My already broken hand was still clutching the ring he gave me. Crushing fingers really hurts. I could hear the sound of the joints misaligning, feel the bones twisting and breaking inside me. The pain so intense, it felt like I was dying and being reborn. The third finger was the middle one. The finger was still wearing the ring Lee gave me. Heap's brother Hunk snickered and ordered his men to take it off, tossing it into the drain beside us. I rushed over to retrieve the ring. I was pinned to the ground, kicked and punched. You trash. What gives you the right to fight for my sister? I groped through the rain and mud, and finally found that ring, Lei's engagement ring. The one with the stubborn diamond. I joked that it was tacky. He said diamonds are indestructible, just like our love. When he said that, Lei's expression was utterly serious, but I never imagined that when he showed up, it would be like this. The rain, still sparkling, seemed so ridiculous. When Lee appeared, I thought he was here to save me. Even Hunk thought so. So, all of his men stopped what they were doing, and Hunk, irritated, took a drag from his cigarette. His eyes narrowed with both malice and weariness as he looked at Lee. Lee, you're not still protecting her, are you? My sister's still lying in the hospital. Lei's worst fear is that something happens to me. Once, I had a sudden impulse to cook for him, and while cutting potatoes, I accidentally cut my hand. I said it was fine, just a band-aid would do, but Lee insisted on taking me to the hospital. When they were stitching me up, his face was tense, his nerves shot, as if it were him, not me, who was injured. From then on, Lee wouldn't even let me cut vegetables by myself. I'd intentionally pout, saying, "You've spoiled me. What would your friends say about this?" He'd furrow his brow. My wife. I'm happy to pamper her. What does that have to do with anyone else? That's the Lee I knew, the one who could make me slowly open up to him. But now, he was so calm, looking down on me from above, like I was just an insignificant ant with no connection to him. Is this Lee? The Lee who couldn't bear to let me feel even the slightest bit of pain, the one who would warm my abdomen with his hands all night when I had menstrual cramps, ignoring his sore arms. Lee, I murmured his name, unable to understand what was happening. His expression was cold. You shouldn't have touched Heap. Heap's dream is to be a pianist. Those are her hands for playing the piano. How could you ruin them? There was a certain disgust in his voice, unmasked, as if I were truly some unforgivable criminal. Tears suddenly welled up. Heap, so, Heap really is that important to him. Heap is Lei's white moonlight, the girl next door who he's known since childhood. The day Heap returned to the country, he got a phone call. He didn't even finish his meal and immediately said he had to leave. A woman's sixth sense made me follow him. At the airport, I saw a girl in a princess dress running toward him, hugging him warmly, laughing like an innocent child who knew nothing of the world. She sweetly called him darling, but he never let me call him that. Mia, I'm Lee. You're Lee. Yes, he's my Lee, and someone else's darling. But one darling seemed to be worth countless Lees. She was so noble, and by touching her, I had destroyed her in her dreams. And me, what am I? Being pinned down here and having my fingers crushed, what does that make me? Huh, good boy. Hunk laughed, flicking the cigarette butt to the ground and stomping it out forcefully. I knew my sister didn't make a mistake. What are you all still waiting for? 7 more to go. Didn't you hear what Mr. Lee said? Those burly men closed in and dragged me aside. The stench of their breath sprayed in my ear, in my line of sight. Those exquisite leather boots didn't even flinch. I cried out in pain, cold sweat and tears flowing uncontrollably down my face. Hunk sneered. Who told you to mess with my sister? If there's a wound on her, you're gonna get 10 times worse. If my sister suffers even a little, you'll pay back 100-fold. Yes? Heap is like the clouds in the sky, and I'm just mud on the ground. Heap has a brother protecting her, but I have nothing. I used to have Lee, but now Lee is no longer on my side. I'm alone again. The pain became unbearable, and I turned to Lee, begging him for mercy. I thought, at the very least, we still had some bond left, but he only gave me a disinterested glance and said, I was ruthless. Yes, I did hurt Heap, but there are some secrets even Lee doesn't know. In addition to doing some odd jobs, my other identity is a police informant. I've been undercover with the drug lord Mr. Lance's crew for a long time, starting as a bartender and finally working my way into their inner circle, all in order to collect evidence on their drug trafficking. That day, a few of Mr. Lance's men were at my place discussing business, when suddenly, Heap showed up, with a stern face. She came in and declared her claim, saying Lee was hers. It was because I went abroad to pursue my dreams that he ended up with you. Now that I'm back, you should know what to do, right? The girl in the white dress, like a princess, descended upon that old, shabby building. She didn't notice anything wrong in the house and barged in with a determined look. She didn't see the men in their room with murderous looks in their eyes. Mia, is this your friend? She saw us. The men grinned maliciously and advanced toward Heap. Their eyes met, all filled with ill intent. They wanted to silence her. If they caught her, she wouldn't just die, she'd lose half her life. Or worse, something far more terrifying for a girl, for an undercover agent. This was the cruelest thing that could happen. Watching your family, friends, or colleagues being tortured in front of you. The mission had to continue, but I couldn't just watch Heap get hurt. To save her, I deliberately broke one of her fingers, making sure it bled profusely. I controlled the force, focusing mainly on the external wounds and fractures. With proper medical care, she'd recover. She's just a silly girl. I taught her a lesson for you. I guarantee she won't say anything. I came here today to help Mr. Lance with some business. Let's not waste any more time. I forced a laugh and negotiated with the men, making Heap swear she wouldn't say a word. She didn't die, but I felt like I might. Now that it was like this, if she died, I didn't even know what Hunk and Lee would do after they came today. I dragged my broken body to Lee's side, struggling to lift my head. Lee, you have to believe me. Lee, you said you would always believe in me. My voice was like I was crying. I was on the ground, and Lee looked so high, it felt as though he were too far away to reach. Mia, the mistake you make can only be paid for this way. His lips parted slightly, and there seemed to be no mercy in his eyes. The hope in my eyes gradually faded. My voice was almost choked. Paid for. So, I break one of her fingers, and I deserve to have all my fingers broken by you. Hunk sneered. What else? You think you're something special, daring to compare yourself to my sister? The pain left me speechless, lying on the ground, thinking that I used to have an older brother. My brother Alex used to save $1.50 from his breakfast money just to buy me an extra boiled egg. He would wait for me at the school gate, holding my hand as we walked home. He would storm into school with a dark expression, teaching those naughty boys who pulled at my skirt a lesson whenever I came home crying with a red nose. But Alex was no longer here. I never even got to see his body. There's no name on his tombstone. It wasn't until much later that I learned how cruelly Alex had been treated while he was alive, which is why his comrades were so heartbroken when they saw me. They said, your brother Alex was a great soldier. Holding Alex's ashes in my hands, tears streamed down my face. I stayed busy during the day, but at night, I would curl up under the blanket and think about him, my tears soaking the pillow. Then I met Lee, and my face started to have more smiles. I would whisper to Alex in my heart, telling him not to worry about me anymore. I had found a lover who loved me as much as I loved him. He said he would always believe in me and protect me, but at this moment, I really missed Alex. If Alex were still here, other people's older brothers wouldn't dare bully me. I struggled to lift my head and glanced at Lee, the promises we made during our passionate love flashing through my mind one by one. Then, I lowered my head, feeling empty, tears mixed with rainwater, flowing to the ground. No one saw. Before I lost consciousness, I seemed to hear Lee's angry voice. Mr. Hunk, she is still my girlfriend. This ends here today. Lee, you still remember I'm your girlfriend? But I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. When I woke up, my hands were already in casts. My left hand was entirely wrapped in plaster, and my right little finger was in a splint. Lee walked in holding a tray, the steaming bowl of noodles in his hands. The aroma of the egg noodles I love to eat filled the air. But now, when I smelled it, all I could feel was an overwhelming sense of nausea. I wanted to get out of bed, but as I tried to push myself up, another wave of intense pain shot through me. Lee frowned and set the bowl down. Be careful. Don't touch it. 6 finger bones are fractured. You'll need at least a month to recover. His beautiful eyes looked down at me. His gentle gaze was like a shadow, as if nothing had ever happened. I felt absurd, turning over and sitting up, preparing to get out of bed. Mia, he grabbed my arm, his face darkening with an unmistakable gloom. Where do you think you're going? His grip was so strong, his eyes heavy as they bore into me. With injuries like this, how can you manage by yourself? You'll be taken care of here. I stared at him, a few words tumbling out from my throat. Lee, don't forget how this injury happened. He just stared at me, his brow furrowing slightly. You shouldn't have hurt Heap. Even if you wanted to vent your anger, you shouldn't have harmed anyone. Heap has never suffered a day in her life. She's never seen anything bad. As pure as a blank sheet of paper. You shouldn't have been so cruel to her. I can't describe that look. It was filled with disappointment, pity, and a certain distant, barely perceptible disdain, as if he had already decided on my guilt. When did Lee, the one who promised to protect me for life, so unquestioningly decide that I was a ruthless person? Lee, if I'm the one who's hurt 6 times worse than Heap, isn't that cruel? Heap has been pampered and sheltered since childhood, so pure and naive. While I grew up struggling in the dirt, she can't endure even the slightest injustice. Yet no matter how much suffering I endure, it's because I deserve it. How can that make sense? And I'm your girlfriend. I said this with a lump in my throat. Lee was silent. Hunk is a madman. No one can touch Heap, was he explaining? But this isn't the Lee I knew.